Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are well. Just want to talk about a couple knives that in my collection before I call it a day. And those two knives are very similar, if not the same. But there's some magics to it. All right, guys. Now, um, for the audiences that are in the hobby of collecting, I guess, well-known, iconic photo knives, you would have known the exact models in the manufacturers and the brand and the specs of it, what makes them so special. For the knife hobbyists that sort of coming late to the hobby recently, that you haven't discovered this particular knife, hopefully this video will be a great starting point. At least give you some new perspective that you didn't know about when it comes to knives. Now there's so much to talk about cold steel. There's so much to talk about the model AD10. And there's so much to talk about the knife designer and maker behind the knife, that is the knife maker Andrew Demko. I'm not the expert in any of those areas, but after collecting, some very great knives for the last 2 years, I do have a few things to say about those two. And that is, knives fundamentally, regardless how cool, how sort of the market trends try to make people believe, but fundamentally knives are tool. And I thought about this in the car today, and as a tool, the most important characteristics about the tool is the tool has to be reliable. The tool has to be dependable. And especially when you're looking at knives as survival tools, that very often you will find in some situations that you get to use them daily, cutting cardboards, boxes, ropes. But on the other side of the spectrum, you will also find the situation where, very harsh and, I guess, an emergent situation where, for frontline workers such as, firefighters, law enforcement, those tools are absolutely critical for them to do their job. Okay, so if I combine all those characteristics and apply them into a folding knife at the same time that has a timeless design, that it looks, it's to me at least, pleasing to my eyes, pleasing to the eyes. I really think that the Cold Steel AD10, of course, if you got the money, you can buy the true AD10s that's not manufactured by Cold Steel, but manufactured by Andrew Danko's his own hands. You can buy customs that sometimes you will see them floating on the secondary market, but extremely hard to find. And not to talk about prices, they are probably between 5 to 10 times, depending on which one you're looking at, right? Sort of 5 to 8 times of those prices. And most often you'll find those custom knives are, similar to this. They are sitting in the collection to be admired and to be seen. Now, those two AD10, now this one, we'll talk about this one first. Now, this AD10 is you see that's the new Cold Steel logo, right? So that's the GSM period where the founder of the company, Link Thompson, sold Cold Steel. I think around the time of COVID, or a couple years prior to that. But it has that sort of the box outside of the Cold Steel. If you see any Cold Steels that, actually, let me show you, because I had these on me today. If you see on the marketplace or on the secondary, or any knife shop that you go through that has, do a comparison, that has the Cold Steel in this logo without the box, over those letters, then those cold steels, at least to my understanding, that they are made with the standards, machinery, or teams or ideas that were made prior the GSM acquisition. Okay, and there are things to be said about it, right? Again, as a default format, this is a $350 knife. This is the 4 Max Elite. Again, another great work by Andrew Dankel. It feels amazing as a default option compared to the G10 version of the S35EN. There's no comparison. The G10, the quality of the G10 is much better on this. Of course, it costs double and beat the price. Instead of the steel liners, I could be wrong, but I think this is the titanium liners here, and the full titanium backspacer, and even you can tell this is the steel. Even this one is as well, being is a limited edition. Those are the steel pocket clips, but this one is the titanium pocket clips, and just the ups. I'm putting this as a reference here, guys. All right, get the focus right here. Okay. Now I'm just gonna put this here as a backdrop. Now, back to us talk about the S35EN of cold steel. I noticed there's a bit of rusty spots over here, guys. Again, I talk about things that I noticed along the way. I tried to get rid of it. I couldn't, guys. If you have any idea how to get rid of the rusty spot like this, please let me know. I'll definitely give that a try. Okay, so this is the S35EN with the original gold. By the way, I've reached out because I'm a massive fan of original gold. If you've been with the channel for a while, I have multiple scouts from them. Everything's made in house. Everything's made by very high quality in USA. Very proud team, knowing exactly what their craftsmanships are, and the quality is the best. Titanium, I have no arguments about that, right? So they're actually sending another scale that is aluminum of AD10. So guys, stay tuned, and we'll talk a lot about more. Hopefully we can work with the team at Original Gold to bring you guys some additional value here. Okay, so this AD10 is on their, I think the name of the patent of the name of the scale is OG. I could be wrong, but I've got the AD15 also using this patent, but in aluminum. It costs a bit less. This is more than 200 USD, full tie. It's amazing, guys. It's truly amazing. The action is just incredible. Okay, and the philosophy behind doing this is I really love to get a custom AD10 one day. Okay, so I guess now and before that, this is gonna give me the feeling of AD10 custom, and you know what, I have no doubt it truly delivers of what it's asking for, right? Because it is all great work. It's made in Taiwan. F35EN is doing a fantastic job here. Really nice satin blade. You know what? You can tell there are some compromises for cold steel to do this, because the bevel line here is not the crisp. It's not the sharpest, right? Very sharp on the edge for sure, but again, the satin here and the grinds here, they're not. You can tell this is not being done as in a $500 USD knives with that standard, but it will do the job. As a user, for sure, as a collector that's sitting in a collection, having a couple pieces like that is provide a lot of value. Okay, so AD10 S35EN plus the original gold titanium scale. In terms of cost, I think you can very frequently getting the AD10 around 150 or even a bit less. We'll call it 150 just for the sake of it. You get the OG scale, that's about 200. You just includes all the shippings within. You're looking about between 350 to 400, or around that 350 as a build cost. And do I think it's worth it? if you are a new collector and you want to buy knives at $50 and you want to buy a whole dozen of them, right? Button locks, frame locks. I forgot to talk about locking tyro. This is Andrew Demko's trial lock. We're gonna talk about the whole lock in a different episode, but this is one of the strongest lock in the world. Okay, so guys, again, back to what I was saying, right? If you are new to the game and you want to buy a whole different colors, and you want to buy 5, 6, namely, let's say you want to get a QSP Penguin, right? Very popular EDC knives. I had one. I loved it, right? But if you want to get that type of trend, right, you can buy 4 or 5 different finishes, McCarters, G10s, titaniums, and that's going to set you back about $350, right? And you can have a collection of QSP Penguin. Love it, by the way, right? Or if you appreciate, I guess, the story of Andrew Danko, you gotta look into it, and you appreciate someone that's been in the game, acknowledged and accepted by many, and market appreciate what they achieved, and you wanna have a centerpiece in your collection, and you don't have the money for a custom, right? Then I think this will be sweet. Just my opinion, all right? Or you can, of course, take it to the full max elite level. You can tell the sizes are much bigger than the AD10, okay? Much bigger. This is a 4-inch. This is, I think, 3.7 or 365. I could be wrong. Now, moving along, this, look at that starting blade. It's truly fantastic. Again, not the best grind. We'll talk about it in a minute. Okay, so this is also done by Cold Steel, okay? Recently. It took me a while to find this particular knife, and it's all gone. You can't buy it from retail no more. I think Amazon has it for about $350, $360. On the secondary, I've seen some eBay sold for $500. I've seen some on Demco Dynamic Facebook forums sold for $250. But again, very hard to get at $250. Majority of them are sold around $350 to $400. Do I see value at $350, $400? Similar to this, okay? Similar to this. You built this about $350. You could have bought a brand new about $350, actually $250 for a few months, but then they were all gone, okay? So these came in a limited edition box because it is limited edition. I think there are about 1,000 of it. This is the number 491, okay? The idea is the same, that the collaboration between Andrew Danko, between Danko Knives and Cold Steel is great, because Danko actually worked for Cold Steel for Link Thompson, under Link Thompson for a long, long time. So the relationship is there. And last year they decided, because again, Demco now is doing really well. Cold Steel, I think, is doing okay. Of course, probably not as, their reputation is probably not as high as Link Thompson. But again, Link Thompson as an individual truly made a whole difference. So Cold Steel and Andrew probably, caught up together, and they asked themselves the question, what should we do when whole folding knife is really going towards that premium materials. Everybody want a nice full titanium, right? People don't want to. I mean, where Original Gold came in is fantastic, right? They've solved the pain point where people love AD10s. Again, Original Gold, we're going to talk about Original Gold, a whole different videos, right? They're fantastic, but they solve a whole pain point where people had a G10, but they want more, right? So instead of leaving the whole market opportunity for people like Original Gold. But again, in the whole wide world, there's only one company doing this. That is Cassie and her team. That is the Original Gold, because it takes a lot of effort to do the whole thing. I mean, the whole contouring here, the finishing of it, it's just unreal, okay? I think it's unreal. But Cold Steel want to get a piece of that as well. So they decided they start releasing, there are a few models. I'm actually considering getting this old black one, that they produced a limited range of models of this AD10. That is 3V. Just give you guys the detail. So 3V steel, not full stainless steel, but one of the gray steel. Still very strong corrosion resistance, but not as great as, of course, an S45EN or a Magna Carta. but very popular, very great tool still, very strong, very tough stills, which I think really suits the scene well with the AD10. Okay, satin finished, again, bit of you could have been done better. I think even comparing to the F35EN, I think this finish a little bit sharper in terms of that bevel, that grind line. But again, nothing to complain about because I got this about 250 USD, which is a great buy. Such a great buy. So I might considering sending this to a BGM regrind shop that I think John's doing a fantastic job. But again, I've seen an AD15 where if he grinds on the top, I'm afraid that's gonna kill a bit of here, right? It's gonna probably scratch up that sort of dangle stuff. But I actually I'll send a video through to him just to confirm this, because if John can work just on this area, the belly and the top, without touching, again, I don't mind he getting rid of all that, but if he does getting part of that, that's going to look inconsistent. So I'm going to check with him to see whether he can make a clean cut on the top and in the bottom. Okay, so back to what I was saying, right? So Cold Steel released a full tie that is no, of course, this is no liners as well, but the G10 version does. So two great piece of tie, steel lock bar, titanium backspacer, all around, and a steel pocket clip. They should have upgraded the tie pocket clip for this, right? It is a bit shameful, I think, to do all the work but keep the same pocket clip. It's look, they can get away with it with 250 asking price, but I think as a retail, a lot of people bought them for about 350 or 400. That's a bit inexcusable, just in my eyes. Again, made in Taiwan, so not a USA made, but intention, the motivation was very clear. It was about getting customers through the door, knowing that they want a tie, and they want an old tie finish, and they want to see in the format of AD10. And they've done it. If you're asking me, knowing that all I have for now, out of 0 to 10, how much would I rank their job? They've done it, knowing that's what's their intention. I don't have the boxes. The boxes are pretty great. The boxes says limited edition, is a lot larger, and it had a left-hand pocket clip in there as well. But if you ask me to give the whole thing as a 1 to 10, I would say, I guess the expectation was pretty high, right? If they gave us a titanium pocket clip, again, I don't mind the design of it, but just give us a simple tie, okay? And if they fix some of the poor finishing on the blades, I would have given them a 9 out of 10. But for the status of it is, I'll give them a 7. Because they could have done a bit better, and they should have done a bit better. This is different. I'll give this a 9 out of 10 because the S35VN is fantastic, although there's a bit of rusty spot over here. But it's very, very honest. G10 was honest. OG Gold's tie was very honest. This I will give a 9 out of 10. I love this 4Max. It's just incredible, truly incredible. So I'll give it 7 out of 10. All right, and again, I'll check with a BGM regrind. I'll check with John whether he can do a regrind on both systems. I'll check with him just to make sure, because he says he has to keep all the letters on it, just to make sure no letters will actually get sort of, you know what I mean, right? So when they do come back to me, it's going to look as clean. So that's it, guys, tonight. That's it, guys. Now we'll talk about AD10 briefly again, right? People that in this hobby talk about things all day long, I know. But it was kind of fun, right? And hope you guys pick up a thing or two that maybe in your Cold Steel collection. I know there's a lot of Cold Steel fans out there. I love the brands so much. I think it's so much fun. And it's a great platform, a great reputation to keep continuing on in the business. All right, guys, that's it. That's it for tonight. And any question about those Cold Steels, any question about AD10s, anything you want to share about your experience with your AD10s, or anything Andrew Damco made, feel free to chime in the comment down the section below, and we're sure to continue our discussion over there. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Take care, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.